leading up to the taping, I had a sense that I was going to be bumped. And I have this move when it's a cry I'm embarrassed about. I hug her so that the cry is on the other side of her body.
So you just get her back wet.
Yeah.
I can't figure out how to spin her around. I'll just go in for the kill.
How long's the cry?
It was a long hug. It's clear what's going on. It looked like when you hold a baby and they spit up on you. That's how her back looked like.
You're listening to the Dear Buddies podcast.
You will grow from boys into men.
Whatever, dude.
What does that look? Don't get weird on me.
Hey, buddy.
For all those questions you can't bring yourself to ask your friends, ask your buddies.
Welcome to the Dear Buddies podcast. We are very excited to be here today. Make sure you rate, review, subscribe, all that stuff. YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Okay, that's out of the way. This is gonna be a tough one. I'm excited to see what happens. We're gonna get a lot of laughs, but it could get real damaging to some of us because today we're gonna talk about men and our ability or inability to cry. Crying has been in the news. A lot of emotional things happening in the news, and crying is Sam's already laughing. Producer Sam's already freaking out.
Why is crying? How is crying being in the news? What news are you watching?
There's been some rain, you know.
Oh, the Earth is crying. Precipitation.
Trump's been crying a lot lately. The whole Trump organization has been crying as they've been raided.
Oh yeah, Democrat Mike coming out. Jesus Christ, how soft can we get on this podcast? A couple snowflakes to the right over here.
Oh, that's funny. You don't vote. Now, is that an edit?
No. I don't vote. No, I hate voting.
Can we?
We have a very exciting and fun guest who, when we asked about, is he okay talking about crying? I think, what was the response? Yeah, let's do it.
He sent me a cry emoji back with a thumbs up.
But it's tough to get a guy, especially a comic, to want to talk about crying as a guy, and so we feel.
But you look like a guy who cries.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm the first and only person you asked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, your feeling is spot on.
If you had said
absolutely.
no, we would have gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
The very funny. You've been on Colbert.
Yeah.
2 times.
I've been on Colbert and Corden, the Late Late Show.
Whoa!
Look, you know,
a late night veteran.
Yeah.
The very hilarious Steven Rogers. How are you, buddy?
Rogers.
And you open for one of the best comedians of all time.
That should be your
Brian
Scopo.
Regan.
That is right.
Brian Regan. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you could catch him out on the streets with
Yes.
Mr. Brian Regan. Buddy,
Yeah.
thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm very excited. I listen. I love the pod. It makes me laugh, and I cry. And it's a good time. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's
You're
awesome.
also lying.
Well, you know.
There you go.
I listen to one, and it's this one. I'm from the future. It was really good.
So we wanted to take a crack at crying on this episode. Not to actually cry, but feel free if the mood strikes you.
You know.
We actually recorded this episode like a week ago, just the 3 of us, and we needed some outside perspective, so we decided to give it another shot. Which is how usually I end up crying when I don't do something right. I'm like, well, I have to do it again, and I don't want to do it again because I'm stubborn, so I cry. But yeah, we're gonna chat about it. First question off the bat for you.
Yeah.
And we'll join you. We're not just gonna grill you about it.
Oh yeah, please.
When can you remember the last time you cried? And please be as honest as possible.
Yeah, it was. I cry almost every time I fly.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You got a fear of flying?
I have a fear of flying.
So I actually do too.
Buddy, you chose the wrong business.
Yeah.
You fly a lot.
I fly a lot. It is not it is attached to the fear. Because I'm afraid of flying, I usually, you know how like you're like thinking about, when you think you might die, you think about all the stuff in your life. So I'll think about good stuff when I'm flying, and then that will get me choked up sometimes. And I'll tear up. I don't like sob or anything, but I do have. No one talks to me on a plane because it is clear I have cried.
You're just puffy-eyed, red face.
Yeah. I look like I know this plane's going down. It's really bad.
Like you're on a mission.
Yeah.
I see. You're not crying because of the fear. You're trying to think what's gonna happen if I go down.
Yes.
Here is the montage of good
Yeah.
thoughts in my head. That now I'm crying because of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not going to say Steve Rogers and plane crashes. He's going to say 300 people died. That's it. Yeah, you're one of 300.
Well, there's another thing to make you upset on the plane
That's what I'm
about.
thinking about. Is the
Sorry to tell
headline.
you, but you're on this podcast. You're not famous enough.
Yeah, my headshot's not even in the paper.
No.
You better hope somebody didn't place 15th on America's Got Talent, Romania. Otherwise, you're not getting named.
Sword swallower. Man.
How are you feeling when you're crying? First of all, in the sky, you're crying in front of other people. Are you hiding it? Are you going to the bathroom?
No, I don't hide it because it's not a I'm not like
You're not sobbing.
or anything. It's just like I'll think about the stuff that's real. It's a good when you're terrified and think you're gonna die. It's a good way to find out if you're liking your life. And right now, I enjoy it. So.
Do you put a movie on to not seem like you're just crying out of nothing?
You know, you are way smarter than I do it with the screen's black. I'm not looking at anything.
Oh, really? I put Men in Black on and be like, oh, the aliens.
He has the flight plan. The guy beside him's like, this guy
man.
fucking hates Cincinnati.
It's like, wait, just put on episodes of Rachel Ray. What the hell's this guy's problem?
Oh man, that's so funny.
But can I ask what the root of the fear of flying is? Like, can you point that out? Like, do you know what it is about
It's
flying?
unnatural. It's like
Someone actually just told me this, that the fear of flying is someone who doesn't have control. And that
I
lack
hear
of
that a lot.
control is the thing. And I think that makes sense because I like to sort of be in control
That's
too.
true. I like to drive most of the time. I don't like sitting with
The plane?
someone.
Well, you like to
Yeah. I'm a fucking maverick.
You
Top
like to
Gun.
yell at people because it's your car.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but even when I'm not, I'd rather drive. I think I'm a better driver than most people, so
not true.
well, in my head it is.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be in control. Because I can control a situation when I'm driving.
Yeah.
When I'm not driving, I can't control the situation.
Well,
Right.
that's why they say that people usually have a fear of flying because of lack of control.
See, I go back and forth. Like if I used to be really terrified of flying, but because I have a paranoia of having a heart attack all the time, and so as soon as the door closes, I'm like, well, if I have one here, I'm done.
that's another one of mine.
Oh, really? Heart attack, buddy.
Well,
We're gonna die together.
Yeah.
We're gonna kill ourselves with our paranoia.
It is. I guess it is control. I fought that because I heard that when I told somebody I was afraid of flying, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. It's more that it like we're in the air and it doesn't like we shouldn't be up here, and like I thought that's what it was, but it is rooted in
control.
control.
I don't know if that's true, but that's just what someone told me.
Can we run through a couple of like what do you think of that makes you cry? Like what are the happy thoughts that makes you cry? And then also, have you ever not cried and you're like, oh, I got to get my life together?
I would never not cry. I would never cry on the plane.
Think of all the happy things in my life and done. All right, well,
I get that far down the list.
Well, Men in Black, here it goes.
After the Mets win, I'm ready to go. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, what are these happy thoughts that go through your head? Your family, for sure.
My family, my fiance, Caitlin Palufo, very funny comedian.
Stop name dropping.
Yeah, look, I don't want to brag, but I've worked her and
worked her. Uh-oh.
You mean worked on her?
Yeah. Clean and anyways, but
That took me a second.
So like it's a lot of that. It's like, oh man, like I'm with somebody I care a lot about. We in the past it was I haven't even been able to propose to this person. Like, what if I go? Like I'm dead before I can let her know how much he means to me. That kind of stuff. It's all stuff like that. And then recently we were flying. Sometimes it's when we're flying together, and it's like, well, that's I don't think about her. She's right here, so she's dead too. And so it's one less on the list. But we were flying, and we had something happened where we ended up having different seats, and we ended up having an emergency landing on the flight. And we both fell asleep. It was a cross-country flight. And I woke up an hour into the flight, and the plane was going through turbulence, and it was clear we were getting ready to land. And I saw the flight attendants like strapping up and everything, and I was still like coming out of the sleep, and I was like, I think we're like, no one's like freaking out, but something's going on, and then it's clear that we're going down, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die, and she's like 4 rows back. I don't even get to tell her. I don't even get to hold her hand and tell her I love her.
And you buckle in, you're like, well, it sucks for you not being in first class, bitch.
Yeah. I'm like, well, if you were platinum, I would have been able to tell you how much you mean to me. So that was.
Start opening for Regan, loser. Jesus.
Yeah, stay loyal to the airline.
That'll teach you for bouncing around the economy plus.
Yeah, so that was. So it's her. It's because of her we have 2 cats. I love them, but I didn't want them, and now
You can say don't want them. That's fine.
I do want them now, but I didn't want them coming into it.
Sure.
And now I'm like just tied to these things. I love them so much, and it's like just worrying about everybody that I'm missing out on. It's like, oh, you're just saying goodbye to all the I like
Your life.
My life's good.
Does Caitlin? I mean, we were talking about this off the podcast.
Yeah.
She's like an aggressive
Yes.
personality on stage. Off stage, a little softer, right?
Yeah, did she grab you by the pussy?
She's very like she's I don't know how to describe your fiance. You could do a better job. So if you want to take over here,
she's aggressive is the best way to put it. There's no.
she's an intensity about her.
It's honest.
Off stage, I don't think she's aggressive.
No, she's not. But it is a part of her. She's a former athlete, and a lot of that I see in her stand-up. It's like she was get in trouble for like checking people in every sport she ever played. And when she's on stage, she's also very aggressive.
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of.
Is she a crier? Are you more of a crier than her, or?
She's a crier.
I could see Paloofa as a crier.
Yeah.
She's a crier.
Yeah.
She is not afraid of flying. We are in a good situation where, especially when it comes to our careers, as you guys know, you need somebody to hold you up in those certain times. Where you're just like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Thankfully, we take turns on that.
Oh, that's great. One up, one down.
Yeah. Because if you're both down at the same time, it is a nightmare. I'm like, just put me on the flight.
Yeah, really.
Let's end it. And
there's 2 of me. Get out of here. Jeez. Could never want to do that.
So when we fly, she is absolutely fantastic with helping me through that. And then I'm with her through other stuff where she'll cry, but that one's the major one in our relationship as far as like fear of death. Crying,
Okay, yeah.
that kind of stuff.
What like did she know you were a crier? Is that it? Is that flying? Is that the big trigger for you, or are you outside of like rational fear?
Rational.
Is there anything else that's like not as rational you'd like to say? Sure.
There's a reason you picked me.
How about like when you first probably got Colbert? Did that feel like that? I could see.
You're crying for that.
I could see crying for that.
So I'm glad that's one of the big stories. We got Colbert at the same time. Caitlin also has done it, as you guys know, and
You were together.
we were just starting to admit that we liked each other right around the time that we started to be in the process of doing late night.
Right.
So while we were working on the transcripts for our jokes, we were starting to see each other. So we were kind of like, it was an interesting time of going through 2 things at once. And leading up to the taping, I had a sense that I was going to be bumped. I was getting less.
I was there.
Yes. I had less emails. I was getting less contact, but I'm with her. Like, I'm hanging out at her place. She gets a text, and I do not. And I saw it coming a mile away. And she is a very supportive partner immediately from the beginning and was like, it's going to be great. You're going to do it. It's going to be fun. We're going to do it together. It's going to be awesome because they do it as a showcase.
Right.
Know. And at one point, I just broke and I just welled up. And I have this move when it's a cry I'm embarrassed about. I hug her so that the cry is on the other side of her body.
So you just get her back wet.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't figure out how to spin her around naturally, so I'll just go in for the kill.
That's actually a good maneuver,
How long's the
though.
cry? I mean, that's gonna be a 4-minute cry, 4-minute hug.
It was a long hug, and it's clear what's going on, but like It looked like when you hold a baby and they spit up on you. That's how her back looked like. But
could you have a really large napkin? I just want to put it right here for no reason whatsoever.
this thing.
You're not wearing this shirt on the show, are you?
Yeah. I want to have people I like to wear a bib.
That's a bittersweet cry though, because it's disappointing, but it's also you have someone with you to help you through it.
I was very, very, very grateful, and still am, for her to be there during that time. And it's a hard position because I don't want to be like, hey, this thing we're both going through is now all about me.
Exactly.
You're about to do your first lead.
So you got bumped.
So I ended up, I was correct. I got bumped, and my family had, I found out very last minute, my family had come into town.
Oh, no.
It's fine. It ended up working out. But my parents came in, and I was like, I'm going to go to the show for Caitlin because I want to go see her. She's going to destroy. And I want to, as a fan and as someone that is starting to care a lot about her, I want to be there. And then, and Sam was there, and it worked out, and she destroyed. And I got emotional watching that. That's a thing too, is when you watch someone, when you watch someone you care about in this business destroy and have in this moment, you're like, well, that's cool. But I didn't cry, And then on my taping, my father was in the green room with me. My dad is very supportive. Both my parents are. My mom is handicapped, so I had her in the audience. So to have someone like that be in the audience, someone that can't really navigate New York City,
right.
Most people, that was like a lot. And then my dad, right as they grabbed me to bring me to the stage, put his hand on my shoulder and goes, "I'm so proud of you." And I just started bawling.
I was feeling it right here as you're saying it, because I was thinking that because my mom's in a wheelchair, and like if my dad said I'm proud of you, I'd probably do the same thing,
And he said it before. She's said it before. She's come to many shows before, but it is a different thing. And when he did that, I just lost it. And then I saw his face of, oh my God, I just ruined his late night because I'm being brought up.
Yeah, the makeup chicks this fucking family, man.
Making his late night debut, it's Baby Bitch Boy.
Now they think it's a character. I gotta be the cry guy.
Your merch is just tissues with your face on each one.
That's so sweet, though, dude.
Do the crier. Do the crier.
Yeah. Come on to this crap. Go to the cry again.
That's nice, though.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's like sweet.
That's
really
sweet. Great moment.
Yeah.
Well,
So you have a heart.
I have a heart. Yeah.
Last week when we did this episode, we were talking about how I remember saying that my dad didn't really allow me to cry. Not if I was sad, but it was more like, if you go to a party, things aren't going your way, don't cry. No one likes a crier type thing. So
sure.
And I know he was saying don't cry when you suck out, but in my head when I'm a kid, it means you're not crying.
Right.
And I forget what your dad said about you, and I was gonna ask.
He called you a pussy.
Pardon me?
Yeah, my dad called you a pussy.
Well, Ralph would do that. Yeah, for sure.
As a kid, he was like, "You're gonna meet this huge pussy one day."
Yeah, Canadians, don't trust them.
But was your dad like that? I'm getting the sense that your dad was a little bit more open, a little bit more easygoing when it came to that stuff.
Yeah, they were easygoing. The crying only came with like a handicapped mom my whole life, so it's like she never complained. So I was at all. So I was like, oh, that you don't complain. You just deal with what comes your way. I'd cry if I like fell and got in like a lot of pain or something something like that. But when I was held back in the second grade, and that I remember crying then because I was like, that moment of complete failure, all your friends are going forward, but then you're not.
Yeah.
That's like intense FOMO. That's like early onset FOMO where you're like, my entire existence is moving on without me. Because at that age, everything matters to such an extreme.
Oh, yeah.
I had a cousin that got held back in like third grade, but it's never for like it's always just like, hey, he just needs an extra year. Like
Yes,
it's nothing really wrong.
Yeah, but at that moment.
Yeah, but
At that moment, I was like, well, my life's over.
Yeah.
Like,
You start,
you know what I mean?
start looking at the yellow pages for you're like mill jobs. I don't know what that is, but I'll shovel coal.
I was like, oh well, I only have to see everybody that's in 3rd grade for what 6 more years? Like just in the hall, like with a fake mustache, like new kid.
We had a kid that held back. He still kept eating lunch with us, and it was like that was still a little weird. It's like, yeah, bro, you're over there now.
But how,
Yeah.
how was that though? Like getting held back, like emotionally. What did you see your old friends? Were you still friends with them, or?
I only talked to no. I don't think I talked to any of them.
Wow.
And it was.
Those grade 3s left you in the dust.
They left me in the dust, man.
They were like,
They
watch this.
Instagram blocked you in real life.
Like, watch this.
Jeez.
2 plus 2 is 4, loser.
yeah.
I don't know what 2nd graders study.
Yeah, we're doing division. What are you doing today?
That is interesting though, because me and Mike were saying off. Do you remember the first time that you really cried
That's
as a
the big one.
kid? Wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, and I remember first day of the 2nd year of 2nd grade.
2nd grade,
Yeah.
2nd attempt.
Part 2.
2nd grade
My
was a
second
battle
term.
for you,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Did your parents try to tell you some bullshit like 2nd grade? No, 2nd meaning twice.
That's in my bit that I have.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that.
Okay, you're both hacks. So let's get it real. Both do the same joke here.
I remember first day of my 2nd year of 2nd grade. My first 2nd grade teacher came by the classroom, and
I'm confused here.
Yeah.
Your first 2nd grade teacher, she wasn't
Yeah.
the same teacher again?
no.
She moved up. You didn't even move up.
Yeah. She got to 3rd grade.
She failed. She failed you. So they had to give you to somebody else.
She came in to like visit or something, and I remember I was passing out. You know how like they give a kid to hand out all the sheets, and I was great at it. You know, I've already done it, and so I'm handing out all the whatever worksheets, and I see her, and I literally tried to pretend I was visiting from 3rd grade and helping. I'm like, yeah, I'm just here helping out. I'm a 3rd grader, and like everybody knows I'm a.
She's like, I failed you.
Yeah, everyone here knows you are here.
You're like, she's like, I've never failed anybody until baby bitch boy.
Do you remember your first cries? Your first big one?
I personally remember one, like that I can recall. I was always a big crier. That's what my parents have always told me. That I'd cry at anything. I was like, I was a baby bitch boy. And I remember the first time I remember crying was my dad rented a little boat at the beach at the shore with a bunch of his friends. We were going to go out for the day, and as soon as we got in the water, I just lost it because I didn't know what a boat was. I was like 4 years old or whatever,
course.
and I thought like the sound of the water to me sounded like we were on like a platform. And when they would turn the boat, I was like, we're going to fall over and die. Like I just didn't understand the concept, and I just lost. And my dad's like, it blew me away. I thought you'd have such a great time. We had to turn the boat around. Day's over. So he had like rent a boat, put a deposit down, lose a deposit, all because I just couldn't stop crying because I thought that we were on a wooden board under the water. I mean, I was just a dumb kid. That's what I remember. I was like, I probably could remember more, but because it was constant, nonstop. There's home videos of me like they're singing "Happy Birthday" to me when I'm like 3, and I'm like, whoa, like losing my mind.
So you were always crying as a kid.
Constantly crying.
How about you there?
I was crying a lot too.
Tear zone?
But I don't remember. I remember getting hit in the face with a baseball, and I cried then. And I still regret that one because I was like in the 3rd grade maybe, and I cried. And I felt bad because I was a little weakling, and I was like the best player on the team, and I'm like now I'm crying. And that was one.
If you cry, like when you were physically hurt as a kid, crying was acceptable, but now you get hurt, you don't cry no more.
Yeah, pain doesn't really make at least me or men that I can be aware of. Like I get angry when I get hurt.
Up. No, I think it's just
In pain, physical pain.
like yeah,
the pain makes you cry.
Yeah, I remember getting hit
Really?
in the back with a baseball. I think in college or something like that. Like they were, it was like practice, and I was walking back, and the ball was something through the ball and just missed the target and hit me in the fucking back. I lost my breath.
Oh,
that's tough. That's tough.
And I just I couldn't catch my breath, and I kept I welled up. I couldn't fucking. I think because I wasn't crying because it hurt. I was crying like I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
yeah,
were
that's
scared.
terrifying.
But that's also there's a Harvard research study that was done about crying, and there's essentially 3 different types of tears: reflex tears, continuous tears, and emotional tears. And reflex and continuous are it's like if something affects you physically,
Dirt.
like dirt in the eye, getting hit, like.
Hit
But
with
there's
a
also
baseball.
a combination of two of those there because the emotional tears is like I might be dying because I can't breathe from a pain. So there's like a little bit of both going on there. But essentially, it's like. Yeah, you welling up, but also like if you lay on your side for too long, and you start dripping tears out of your eyes. That is crying, technically.
Yeah, but I'm an athlete, though.
You are.
Yeah. Or like if you're over lubricating and you start crying, like your eyes, like if you keep your eyes open for too long, and then that is a type of crying. But then there's the emotional one, which is like what gets you.
I don't.
what about you?
I'm with you. No, my story, whatever. But I'm with you.
We all shared, but you.
The one time I was trying to impress a girl, we had cubbies, and I was trying to impress this girl. I was like 4 years old, and I went to bench press it, and it fell on me, and I started crying because I was pinned under it, and I was crying underneath
I cried in
it.
kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
my
I can see why you didn't want to say that
My
story.
mom had to pick me up, and I was crying, and that girl always lived around my block, and I knew she always knew that the cubby collapsed on
Called
me.
you cubby boy?
She had a crush. I had a crush on her, but the cubby crushed me. You know?
Why do you want to tell that? That's a great
Whatever,
story.
no, but I'm just saying. I'm saying I'm with you. I don't cry out of. Can we?
He's getting emotional right now.
Look at all these tears I'm crying.
Was your hands get lubricated?
Yeah, they might have.
I have a tougher time crying with being sad, but with more tears of joy, then I cry more. But sadness, I can't cry when I'm sad.
Yeah, me neither. I can't do that.
Why?
Interesting. What's the sad thing where you were like, why is no crying happening?
I mean, if I'm at a funeral and it's like obvious death, yeah, I will well up.
Sometimes I think I cry at a funeral just because they're putting on a good show.
What do you mean?
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Really well written eulogy. You're like, this is
Yeah.
great.
I you know, like
flowers are nice.
Everything is done very well. You got the slideshow, you got the music.
You're like,
And the handshake with the family members. I'm like, all right, excellent performance.
Steve just sobbing in the corner, like, wow, he's really feeling.
I'm running a Yelp. Like this.
He's really
great.
Man, he's just a stranger.
not even a family member.
He's quite moved from this death. No. He's a fan of the setup. Yeah. He loves
I
the
think
flowers.
I still to this day will like. I've said it before, but I'm like, I think I'm on the verge of tears like 3 times a day. Like it's like something will happen, and it'll be like right here, and then I'm like, no, and I push it, like suck it back in.
Oh yeah.
But then sometimes I'll like.
How do you do what's your suck? Is it just? I tilt.
Or I'll tilt my head.
I'm a tilt.
I'll do
I'm
like
a tilt.
gravity.
I'm a Pez dispenser.
That's a last resort because I'm like the tears are coming. Gravity, do your work, baby. Come on, Einstein.
How
Help
about
me
you?
out.
We know you're crying at least 4 times a day. What do you do?
No, I never cry.
Fan?
No, I'm never. I'm just too busy being a man.
Yeah.
Do you actually never cry?
No, during the day, no. I really.
During the day. What about at night?
That's when we're talking.
The
No,
sun
I
goes
don't
down.
remember like the last time like just sadness made me cry. I don't really remember, to be honest with you.
But see, I don't think it's sadness for me. Like I'm crying a lot, but I'm just like emotional about a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I'm incredibly emotional. I try not to show it, which I don't know why. Like I should do, and that's something too that I think is like, when we were like reading and researching stuff about this, it's like, you know, there's something to be said about like, do you when you cry, like if you're on your own, do you like? It's okay. So going back to what you're talking about when you hug her so she doesn't see you crying.
Sure.
Because it's safe behind her.
Yeah.
It's your safe.
Yeah.
I realized that like, and we were talking that you said that you cry when like the doors are shut.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you put the shower on, you turn the water, the shower, the music, and it's like I treat it like puking.
Yeah, he
like,
does.
'cause I don't like to puke, and like if I throw up, it's like an event, and so I can't be near anybody. I want to be alone. I don't want anyone to hear about it. I want to walk out pretending like nothing happened.
Right.
And I feel like I do the same thing if I actually end up crying. I'm like, get me out of here. Get me somewhere alone, so I feel safe.
Yes.
But I feel safe that I can cry.
I cry in the bathroom. Like I will lock the door and I will go in the shower. I won't shower. I'll just put the curtain down just in case she breaks in. I still got the curtain aspect.
Breaks in.
Seriously, I'll cry in the bathroom maybe but it's not as much. But you know.
Wow.
But didn't you say too that you'll cry like if your girlfriend's gone?
I will. I'll put on a lot of sports montages and relive sports moments
I've
and
talked
cry.
about this with
What the fuck is wrong with us?
with friends. you know you got one coming, you got one in the chamber, you're like, I could use one right now. And I'll find, there's plenty of YouTube there, you know, and now YouTube goes on your TV, so I'm like, oh, I got the let's go put those blinds down. It's like, I do the same thing.
People across the street from you were like, I think he's about to jerk off. No, just a man cry.
If it was a movie, yeah, he pulls the tissue out and he goes like this. Right to the eye. Got him.
YouTube, I got the TV.
Oh, yeah. Is there a scene in movies that will get you every time?
Yeah, I got one. Field of Dreams, the ending part.
Oh, yeah.
Where he goes, you want to have a catch? And he goes, he chokes up and he goes, Dad.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this last time. Like, I remember watching that movie when I was like, I don't know, a teenager or early 20s with my dad.
Yeah.
And he started crying for his dad.
Wow.
And then that gets me going with now of like thinking about he's not going to be here one day.
Man.
So stuff like that will get me crying. I'm like, because he was my coach in baseball.
Right.
Like, baseball was a big part of my life. So that's going to be a big deal.
Wow.
That's a big deal to me.
Right.
Even though you guys make fun of me, but like the Mets, like even it's more of like.
But that's more of that actually explains a lot more.
No,
we don't make fun of you.
No, yeah. I think of the Mets winning and like all the games I've watched with my dad.
Yeah,
just
no, I get it. I get it.
I don't think it's when people are fanatical like that. I definitely think it's not. It really doesn't have as much to do with the sport as it does with the connection surrounding the sport, like with your dad and stuff. Mine is the first time my girlfriend saw me cry I didn't realize I was going to cry was during Adam Sandler's last Netflix special when he did the dedication to Chris Farley.
Lord.
We were in Mexico. And she was coming out of the show. We're about to go out, and she comes out to see me, just like, like full on, like crying. It hit me in a way that like I just did not expect. And then
we did the same thing. Caitlin
really?
and I were like,
you guys cry as a couple a lot.
Yeah, there's some times where
I'm jealous of that.
There's some times where we watch something. We'll watch something and it gets super quiet on the couch, and then one of us will break the silence and then like
with a
we're
sniffle.
like, oh God, that was rough. It was like one of those, just like you just finished a roller coaster together. Like, whoa, okay, well we're done. It's like
so that initial
the Farley song killed it.
That initial cry you had in front of her really opened the floodgates.
Yeah.
No pun intended. For you, like, I'm embarrassed to cry in front of my girlfriend. I never have.
I'm not. I'm never. I still have. I mean, I feel like we all have it. It still feels like wrong as the guy to do it.
There's something like too vulnerable about it, and like it makes you feel. And again, in that Harvard study too, it says women cry 4 times a month. On average, and men cry 1.9.
Oh wow!
Which I think is I don't know if that's a lot or not enough. Like
I finally identify as a woman. But,
congratulations, you've made it. You talking about movies?
Yes, this makes me cry.
What is this?
It's
I don't know what to say.
Any Given Sunday. Al Pacino.
I'm trying to get him to cry. Let's see if we can get it to happen.
No, I can't. Don't. It's long. It's a pretty long.
It's like
speech.
4 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long speech.
It's
good.
It's so good. Life's a game of inches.
Yeah.
And
You know?
gotta fight for that inch.
It's just a great speech.
It's
It
such
gets
a
me
great
every
speech.
time. The second Olivia's like, I'm going away for 3 days. I'm like, bye. Carry your luggage down the stairs. Al Pacino on. Crying in my
give me a little
couch.
LT.
Yeah.
LT
When they zoom in on him and he's shaking. Oh, buddy.
Because you know it's real too. But LT, yeah, he definitely did that.
Yeah. We're so bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could. I wish I could cry more at everything and not be embarrassed about it.
Well, as we get older, I think. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, so you still got some time.
Yeah.
I'm pushing forward. I'm 38, about to be 39. We're all like getting up there. Again, according to this Harvard study, which is very short and very revealing, it's a safety valve for men. It keeps off the difficult feelings, but they also say that it's linked to repressive and less resilient immune systems, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, and mental health conditions, including stress, anxiety, and depression, can be solved.
Yeah.
In theory,
physically,
if you allow that emotion to come out, because the bottling up, it's just all of that. Like you can not cry yourself into a heart attack.
Technically, you're healthier than the 3 of us.
Well, I think one of the reasons you picked me and the reason that people are willing to talk to me about mental health is I'm very open about it all the time. I don't keep anything to myself. I'll never be cool because I'm not focused on the coolness. I'm focused on like living with whatever the hell's going on up here. Like, but I still suffer from coolness or whatever the word I'm trying to find. Accepted over healthy. I got like attacked last year.
Yeah. Yes.
And I was on the subway.
Oh, like attacked.
I got attacked. I got a guy came up and he spit in my face and he punched me in the face.
I don't think I punched you that hard, did I? It's more of a slap.
So like I get like attacked or whatever, and I finally get home and Caitlin's gone, and she's out doing spots, and I'm home alone, and I accidentally lock myself out of the apartment. I get myself back in. I get to the apartment. She's not there, and I'm like, no, a guy would suck this up and wait for his girlfriend to come home and be like, yeah, that was crazy, right? And then I was like, I need her home. And I knew she was done with spots and was hanging out. She just got past the cellar.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, you can't take her away from the cellar. Like, that's more important that your partner's doing well in their career. And then I was just, something in me was like, no, you need to lose it with the person that makes you feel safe right now. And I called her, and as soon as I heard her voice, I just started sobbing. I was like, I'm sorry, you got to come home when you can. And I told her the whole thing. I'm getting choked up thinking about it. But, like, it's crazy that as guys that we are like, no, I got to be tough.
I would have done that.
But you know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Why was that the first instinct was to be like, no, I'm a really tough guy, instead of be like, hey, you got to take one for the team and come home and hold this loser that just got attacked in the subway.
It's a sign of weakness,
Yeah.
like traditionally, and you know,
Yeah.
and culturally, you know,
Right.
you can't. But just like in some other cultures, like men hold hands in certain communities,
Right.
you know, like that would be completely vulnerable and wrong in this society, you
Yeah.
know, whatever, which sucks.
If I got spit in the
hand.
face, and if I got spit in the face,
All right.
and someone punched me, I would immediately start a group chat.
Thank you.
With my friends.
We can stop, right? I'm actually
Yeah, yeah,
uncomfortable.
yeah,
I'm very
I'm
uncomfortable.
gonna start crying.
I'd start a group chat with my friends and be like, boys, just got punched in the sniffer. Like,
Yeah.
this is, it would
But
be a healthy way.
You did that a few weeks ago, but not with punch in the face, though.
Yeah, no, this is, that's fucked up. I won't talk about my emotions, but I am in 2 different group chats about close calls about shitting your pants. Which is like,
amazing.
which is that's as vulnerable as it gets,
Yeah.
shitting your pants. But
You know
for
what bothered
whatever
me
reason,
about that? You called me, told me about it,
Yeah.
and then I show up to do a spot at barbershop, and then Pat Birch is like, yeah, he called me too. And I'm like, I felt like a slut. I felt like you're just telling everybody out here.
well,
I thought
he's
this
in my
was-
second group chat.
I thought this was personal.
Yeah,
I thought this
he's-
was like a nice thing we had
yeah,
with
he's
each
my
other.
second group
Oh,
chat.
number 2.
It's very bizarre.
You feel bad. I'm just finding out about this.
You know your twos.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's crazy.
It is nuts how we can't. We just gotta. What is that though?
It's society. It's like it's years of men going out hunting. This is it. This is what you do. You hunt. You gather. You bring the food home.
Yeah.
That's it. You're a man. You provide. That's years of that ingrained in us.
Right.
Yeah, I don't
Survival.
think it's like current culture. We could blame a lot on like current culture and like, you know, the tough guy mentality thing or whatever, but like I think it is super ingrained in us, because at a certain age you just like you age out of crying almost, some of us. And is there anybody you don't want to cry in front of?
Pretty much everybody else.
Well, your parents, your dad saw you crying.
I cried in front of them, Colbert.
Yeah.
But that was like joy. Whatever.
Joy crying
A
is fine.
monumental moment. People will give you a pass on that.
Yeah.
But of Thursday, you're just hanging out. You're not having a great day. You can't cry in front of Joe List
No.
and Renan.
Yeah, I gotta live with them, you know.
But like,
you go and get in the mail, and they're like, "Did you order more tissues?" Like, I don't need, you know what I mean? I don't need that. I won't cry in front of friends.
They give you a Christmas gift. What is this, a Costco gift card? Well, you can buy tissues in bulk there.
Yeah, you can get a pallet.
Pallet of tissues.
I won't cry in front of friends, families, you know, happy moments or
sad.
severe sad. Yeah, I think it's that. But I bet you death. When you get the news, whoever's around you, then you get a pass. And then other than that, you know what I'm dreading about the wedding is her coming down the aisle and that cry, because everybody's got to look at the husband.
Pass.
I hate that crap though.
You're getting a pass.
I know, but I don't like. I want everyone to look at her.
Wait a minute. Maybe we've come up with something here. Maybe we should start a tradition now that the groom gets to wear a veil, so that no one can see what's going on up there in the papers. Yeah, why not? Make it match like your cummerbund or whatever you wear at a wedding. It's just another. It's like
she gets to me and she lifts it, and my makeup's running.
You lift it up and you're on a hockey match. Just layer upon layer.
There's 2 veils.
It's called the insecurity blanket.
Oh man, that's so funny.
So what the hell are you gonna do? You're gonna like?
I'm gonna cry.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna sob. What are you talking about?
I don't think I've ever seen. Not ever, but more times than less, the guys crying.
Oh, for sure.
Every time I'm thinking about my friends, they're not sobbing, but they're.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sob, but I'm gonna be so excited. It's gonna be a happy cry. I mean, I'm doing it when I'm flying. Like I'm picturing it.
What if you don't cry? She's gonna walk down and be like, "What is wrong with you?"
I'm like, well, if it wasn't a destination wedding, I would I cried on the way here. I saw the best groom cry ever. I was a groomsman, and my buddy saw his bride come down, and he cried. And when she got to him, he gave her $20. They had a bet. They had a bet.
Yeah.
That he would cry.
That he would cry, and he gave her a 20. So I got a huge laugh.
That's great.
Good.
And I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
So now everyone's forgotten about the cry.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there as a comic, you're like, damn it.
Yeah.
Now I can't do that. I'll yell hag.
Right there.
You know what I've never seen a groom cry? Ever? Second wedding.
Oh, for sure.
I've never been to a second wedding.
Several. But I also like
Guys from the South, man.
Second and beyond. Yeah, everyone gets married when they're 17, and then at 20
They
they're
cry
like,
at the
what?
filling at the end. Oh, God.
They cry in church, which is disgusting. People cry in church. Ugh, that's a different episode.
You were nervous about crying during your vows?
No, I think we're gonna be pretty great at that part, because like
You're writers.
we're you know what I mean. I'm worried that we're gonna come off. Shout out to Peter Ravello. I went to his wedding, and when he got to his vows, he turned to the audience.
That's great.
Like he's so we're so used to it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, you're not gonna get. I don't think we'll get as emotional, but maybe we will. I have no idea.
It would be pretty cool if someone, like when they do the vows, if someone puts a mic stand up there for you, or like a stool comes out from behind the priest or whoever.
I'm worried during my vows someone's gonna go, heard it.
Oh, you're getting a light for sure.
Are you nervous about following her?
Yes,
That's a
I
tough
am
one.
worried about
that's gonna be a wild
she's
one.
gonna call someone tiny dick in the front row. Like, that's my father. What are you doing?
I'm about to be an aggressive wife.
do you feel as you gotten older though you've just become more empathetic to stuff, and there's things like that you see around you and you start to maybe tear up and you're like, well, am I growing emotionally, or am I just being softer? I don't know.
It's like, I think there's a mix, because you live, especially, I mean, we always say, especially in New York, but I feel like anywhere in the world, you get hardened by the world around you, seeing certain stuff, and then, but then you also get softened by it too. So it's like it could go either way. Some things make you harder on the outside, and then some things you get more compassionate about. And I feel like it's a balance. Like in some areas, I'm like getting more passionate towards, and then like I got attacked on the street, not as sympathetic sometimes, which is a bad thing, but like that kind of stuff.
What are you supposed to do?
Right. So it's like that kind of stuff. There's stuff where I wish I was getting more empathetic, and there's stuff where I'm like, I am getting softer. It's like that kind of stuff.
I just remember this. It was like May or June, and I was at Astoria Park. I go there sometimes, just sit on a bench, clear my head.
You saw a hot chick. You saw a cabinet. You're like, let's see if I can get this to happen.
No, it was a graduation. These two kids, they were a couple, I guess. They were maybe going separately to different schools. They were holding hands. They were looking each other in the eyes. I'm just trying to look at a goddamn oak tree to relax.
Get a little
They're
vitamin
right
C.
in front of me holding hands, and they start getting emotional. And then I'm watching them, and I'm about to cry, and I'm like, I can't cry watching these fucking kids.
Yeah.
Fuck these kids. So I had to
'cause
leave.
They're like, wow, 2 high school graduates. Not me.
Oh, man. Amazing.
wow.
Finally, it
Amazing.
fucking got me with high
Goddamn.
school.
That was good.
Dude, I was
17 and graduating, 35 ungraduated.
Scopo with the fucking win.
That was amazing.
But I don't think I would cry at that because I would look at this and be like, "What do you think was going to happen? You're going to
Right.
graduate high school and be
No,
together?
not me.
That's worked for 2
but we
people,
do.
and they fuck other people now. Stop."
Not me. It got me. I walked away
Yeah.
before I was crying. It got me. I don't know why. I don't know why it got me. You can't ask these questions.
Yeah, we can, and we are.
Well, I'm at the time.
What was it? What did you when you saw that? What did you see in
Just
yourself?
growing up in life, thinking that this person, you could be with this person forever, and now you're coming to a conclusion that it's possibly, it's just I saw myself. Well, again, not with the graduation.
Did you think of somebody in that moment?
No, not really. It was just like growing up, being a kid and growing
Leaving
up.
your childhood behind.
Yeah, I'm thinking about my life right now. I'm still a pretty big kid,
I
but
had a
yeah.
cap and gown at home. I'll
Pardon
I'll
me?
put you in the cap and gown. We can relive. You want to graduate high school?
Throw it in the air.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm too bold to chuck the cap up now.
It goes up. It's got a wig underneath it.
Takes out 4 strands. You can't leave the strands.
No, I don't know what it was, but it was just, I don't know, maybe I'm just getting older and
You're
it
sentimental.
rocked me.
Chapters ending is emotional.
That's a big one. When you know something's moving on.
Yeah.
I see people like moving. When I see people moving out of New York, like if I'm down the block or whatever, you see them and you could tell that they're like emotional. I start thinking about like, what would happen if I they clearly don't want to be moving and now they're gonna end up in fucking Indiana, whatever.
Yeah.
Really awesome place.
Yeah.
In this country. But I get a little bit that'll trigger me a little bit too. But again, I get triggered all the time. I just like push it back.
What triggers the scopes?
I'm trying to think. Like nothing.
No. Just
Like-
an emotionless robot. I'm glad you joined this podcast. You want to talk about emotions? No, seriously.
No,
Thank
I'm
you.
trying to think of like what really gets me going, of like tears and stuff like that. I guess people people reaching their dreams after like if you think of Instagram video of someone like finding like the other day, there was a
Here we go.
31-year-old rookie finally got called up to the major leagues, and he called his mom on his phone. He's like, I finally did it, Mom. I finally did it. And he's been 10 years in the minor, which is a long time in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
That's a long. Usually, you after 5 years, you quit. You're released a few times. You're stopping. And he stuck with it, and he finally got to the major leagues. And I was like, holy shit, that's tough. That's a good one.
How close did you get?
I think I stopped it. So,
You turned off the show? Oh.
Halfway through, I was like, I can't do this.
I don't like what this phone does to me. Smashes it on the ground, hits it with a baseball
I was
bat.
like, but I said,
Piece of glass goes into his eye, starts crying.
no, I know what I said. I go, it's for the Rockies. That's 4A.
That's good.
But no, that was really because like then he called his mom, and I was like, oh shit, my mom used to go to so many of my games and shit like that. That's tough. That was a tough one.
Man.
Yeah, I have the like similar things of like if like a big moment in the career happens, like to be able to make that call and like I'm flying you up. Like I think
Yeah.
I would start like even on the phone when I start talking when I'm emotional. Like if I'm talking about whatever's happening, there's no chance.
Yeah.
I have to keep my mouth shut when that's happening because
Yeah.
I'll start. So it just comes out like I can't help it. Yeah.
It's what gets us is the speaking to Instagram videos is the pit bull on the street that gets saved.
That's
I
a
can't
good
fuck
one.
with the dodo, man.
It's
I
the dodo.
can't-
It is the dodo.
I can't.
That's a good one because I look at my dog and I'm like, you have a good life?
Yes.
You have a good life?
Yes.
Is your life okay?
And that's a big thing too. I know if you want to dissect it, you're projecting onto your animal.
Of course.
But it's like, am I taking care of these things that bring me so much joy? Are they experiencing
Is he
it
happy?
too? Yes.
I wish he could talk like, are you happy with me?
Yes.
Do you like me?
Yeah, I put out those things where
That's how the Son of Sam started, by the way.
But he has a
he's like, you know what made me happier if you got out there and shot some people.
Hey, if it takes that to get a Netflix special, I'll take it, you know?
I'm sorry.
He had a 3-episode doc. You got
Just saying, it's a credit.
yeah.
Yeah, no one's ever had a doc from like, this guy was such a great guy.
Yeah.
Chrissy Skopowitz over here. Ready to put some people in a freezer.
How about I saw one the other day where a husky started crying at the grave of his owner. And he was like, and I was like, I think I was like, would you do that for me? Would you be that sad?
You should get mad at the dog. You better cry,
No,
dog.
he would.
The soldier coming home and the dog running.
Yeah, the soldiers coming home.
Or
are always
this.
a tough
How
one.
about this? The soldier that died.
Yeah.
And that's his guard dog. And he's like salutes. He is at the salute. That's a rough one. And he hugs the casket. Oh, that's a good one.
Weirdest thing you've cried from?
I mean,
Weirdest.
I feel like the Chris Farley one.
You think that's the weirdest? That's normal.
No, because I was also like on vacation with my girlfriend who we like just started like. That was like a milestone for our relationship, like going out of the country, and like I still like hadn't been emotional in front of her yet, and that eventually caused us to break up.
Right.
Because she saw me crying in front of that, but I couldn't be open up or emotional or vulnerable in front of her, and then we broke up, and then that's the second time I cried in front of her, and then I've never since.
Okay.
Yeah. I cry sometimes when I pull a nose hair out, though.
Oh yeah, me
That'll
too.
get me. That'll get me.
That gets
but
me
sometimes,
too.
But sometimes, I
There's
swear to
something
God,
connected.
sometimes if I'm like feeling like a cry, I'll yank one so that I can be like, oh, that's because of the nose hair, not because I'm crying.
So you have an escape route, just in case you actually get
I have
emotional.
my own little
what
my
a
little
fucking
bunker.
crazy thing that men have to do. Women aren't thinking that. Women aren't kicking fridges just in case they're gonna cry.
Yeah.
Just to have an out. I broke my toe. I have to
blame
cry.
whatever you were eating as spicy. yeah.
Yeah, they don't have to.
Yeah,
do
that ham sandwich had some kick.
Don't forget, I'm a white boy. That mayonnaise is spicy. Which was it, a black pepper? No. That's a terrible idea.
Somebody got pollen? Does that?
So we'd love to hear your opinion about this too as we start to kind of get to the end here. We put it out to our Instagram to our listeners to ask about some crying stories of like guys
This actually
versus
connects.
girls, and this might connect. There's some irrational fears. There's some other ones, but here's a couple of good ones we found. This is from Cow. Thank you, Cow. Actually has a pretty insane phobia of bees.
Oh.
Been stuck plenty of times, and I know it's not that bad, but something about the buzzing makes me mental. So he knows the outcome is going to be okay, or not that bad, but the fear of the bee in his head makes him crazy. So he tells a story. Anyway, this girl I was seeing at the time was showing me an abandoned house on their property. When I got to the living room, there was a ton of noise above me, and I looked up, and there was hornets pouring out of the nest out of the ceiling. We ran out. I got unstung, but that didn't stop me from bawling for what had to be 10 minutes right after. And then they broke up. And that ended their
I
relationship.
think we're passing by an abandoned house on her property.
Well, yeah, that's a
Jesus
good point.
Christ, how you should get back with her.
I think
What's wrong?
Get back with her. I think
Yeah,
she,
her property? Who the fuck has property? I've never seen an abandoned home on your property.
So you see 4 sticks and a half a roof. You're like, this is a rich kid over here.
That guy's loaded. Are you kidding me?
Or she's taking to an abandoned house on the property where the other bodies are.
Yeah,
like that's why he should be crying because he might have just gotten murdered.
I just
Those
want to
hornets
know
saved his life.
what mystery they were trying to solve with the rest of the gang. Wow. Well, that stings. I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Thank
This
you.
is exactly, not exactly, but you know,
Yeah,
similar
the flying.
to
Yeah.
a phobia,
Yeah.
irrational phobia.
Yeah, well, I mean, I also think it's a bit of a. It sounds like a pun on the flying, but it can be a come down of the adrenaline of the intense fear is a possibility. I don't.
Yeah, because he didn't cry when he saw the
Right.
bees.
But this
He
relief.
saw- yeah.
Now I'm out of there. I'm unstung, but that was insane.
Yeah.
Also emotional because you're with someone that you don't want to be vulnerable in front of, and now I am.
And it backfired.
It backfired. That's rough.
That's
Too early though to cry. In
I feel
front
like
of
something like this
someone.
though, like
Did we say how early? I'm sorry.
it was just new.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too
man.
early.
On, he just said.
For
yeah.
bees?
Can't bounce back from that one.
But bees never make a guy look masculine.
No,
I've never seen a masculine attempt at a bee.
no, you
Ever.
got to be like 3 years into if an insect is gonna fuck you up. For
Yeah,
a
but
cry.
I would say though, like that
I
would
think it's 3
for me
years.
pretty early on. If I'm afraid of bees to the point of crying, I'm going to tell you right away. This is going to be my dating profile. 6 foot whatever, 300 whatever, afraid of bees.
You're like, I think we should see other people.
Sprint away. I would have stand in, sucks a little bit of honey, fucks off.
I always cry at my girl because of the bees.
Oh man!
I think you gotta lie at that point and be like, I'm allergic to bees. That's what he should have did to try to save it.
Yeah,
Because
but what if it works? What if like you fall in love, then you got to carry an EpiPen around with you at all times or whatever?
Yeah, you're in too deep.
Just be like, oh no, I'm fucking healed.
So we got another one from our good friend who came in and did our lie detector test. She's a polygraph examiner.
Oh man!
And she says she sees a lot of guys that cry being interviewed in the exam, or when their spouse is getting examined because they know they're lying or they're afraid of the truth. And then also when somebody, if it's a criminal issue being wrongfully accused, and it turns out they didn't do it, they usually do cry.
Yeah, I cried too for fear of showers.
But that's like a like a full-on life-altering moment, you know?
Yeah, that's going to jail is a pretty life-altering moment.
I thought you were gonna say the chair.
No, I'd just be afraid of the showers. Me personally, I'm petrified of the shower. Jail.
We know.
I would be
Kill me now.
I would be a goddamn hit in jail.
Yeah, you got a pretty fat ass, dude. You're good.
Plus, I have long hair. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. Yeah.
And then finally, we got one from Dana, who asked us, like she sent this in as a really interesting, good letter. She said, "Dear buddies, you asked about crying. I find it difficult. I think it's difficult that men are able to cry or be vulnerable in any way. She is a very sensitive female, cries all the time at the drop of the hat, which is normal. And then her better half at the time had to put down their family dog, and their dad had a heart attack at the same time. And then she kept it in until one night they had a couple too many drinks, and immediately he just lost it. And so, but he felt comfortable enough when he was drunk to do that, which is I feel like a common. And again, to go back to this Harvard study, a lot of times it's instead of crying and instead of being open, you self-medicate with drugs and alcohol, and then repressing the feeling and then hitting somebody or being violent. It all stems from the idea that if you don't have that valve to release in a positive way, you're going to end up doing non-positive or I guess that word would be negative stuff. Yeah,
if you got to have performance enhancing drug to break the walls down in order to let the emotions out, that's not wonderful.
No.
I've cried when I was drinking.
Yeah, we all
there we go. We found it.
Yeah.
You said you don't cry, so you cry when you're drunk?
I haven't cried in 2.5 years.
Oh, wow. Maybe, that might be.
I haven't seen my father cry. Have you guys seen?
Yeah.
I have a vague recollection of him crying when my mom got into her car accident when I was in high school. That's like she's still messed up from it. But I feel like I don't know if I have that because I think I blocked a lot of that stuff out because it was like emotional for all of us. Yeah. But beyond that, I don't think I've ever seen him cry.
I think my dad's got a routine where he disappears or something. He's like Batman and Jim Gordon. I'm Jim Gordon. I turn and he's gone.
Instead of a bat signal, it's just a middle finger. Stay away from me.
Yeah. So instead of like, can we have a catch? I want to ask my dad if we can have a cry. But yeah, it's interesting.
But I think that might be the solution. And I think for me, what I like figuring this episode out, the solution could be that it's not important to cry as a guy in front of other people. It's because that's where I think the problem is showing emotions and vulnerability. In that way, it's finding the shower and locking the door, girlfriend, wife, boyfriend gone.
Right.
When you can be alone and you feel like you're cool,
the valve.
Let it out so that way it doesn't come out in other places.
Can I make a confession though?
Oh God.
If I cry in front of a friend, like
you kill them.
I think it's less embarrassing if a friend cries in front of me and it's not for like pure joy or pure sadness. Like if it's for something in between that I think is
not cry-worthy.
Exactly. I'm immediately like, "Oh, buddy, come here," and then behind his back, I'm like, "This pussy's crying. He's a bitch." So like, I don't know. Like, I would do that. You know, like It's just a sort of a comic relief thing, but it's not healthy and it's not nice.
No, because you're someone that would cry for things that don't make people cry.
Right.
Alone, you do it when you're alone because you're afraid of somebody hugging you and being like, look at baby Pav. That's you projecting. You're projecting the fear of somebody talking shit about you for crying.
Oh my God,
Damn.
I'm a monster.
Yeah, you are. You're a big crying monster.
Man.
But seriously,
That's really funny.
I'm serious though. It's just you know, I would make fun of my friends because I think I'm trained to make fun of people who are crying. When we were kids and a kid would cry, it was a party and a kid wasn't getting his way and he cried, oh, look at a baby.
But guys,
You know?
as friends, we're trained to poke instead of poking is
Yes.
love.
Yeah.
In guy friendships. At least that's what I've.
To a point.
Yeah,
And
well,
then when
yeah.
someone's crying, you're not supposed to be like,
No, not at all.
You
I think
know?
I genuinely like a friend is going through an emotional time and if they're crying or something. In the past I've been like, I will give you like, hey, come here, and then I'll whisper like, you're just being a little bitch right now.
Right.
And it gets a laugh
Yeah.
because then you're trying to get them out of that, but also I'm like, careful, buddy. You know, let's not get too crazy. There's a little bit of mix of all that. It's so strange.
It's a thin line, and like the making the joke to make them laugh and be like everything's okay, but also being like, got to be there for them, whatever their
Right.
emotions are going to be in this moment. I have to be there for them.
But also for you and for us, for the person not crying, it's like, I don't really know what to do in this moment, so I'm going to do the only thing I know how to do, which is make fun of you a little bit to make you laugh. That's
Right.
it.
I went to a kid's birthday party one time. I just remember this.
Was
And
2 weeks ago?
No, it was a kid. We were like 9 years old, and he cried at his own birthday party. And his dad came downstairs, and he goes, "I'll give you your gift early," and it was Gerber food. And everyone was like, "Oh, damn!" But this was the '90s when you could be like,
And where's
yo,
that kid now?
I don't really talk to him. I don't know. I don't
'Cause he's a
know.
little crybaby?
I don't know. I just remember that I was like, "Oh, that hurts."
That's
Damn.
a tough. At 9, that's
Something
too,
like it was like 8 or 9.
It's like just on the cusp of too old to cry in front of your friends, but also like way too old for your dad to call you a baby in front of your friends. That is a
But I think
life-altering moment
I
for
think
him.
he thought it was a joke. The dad didn't do it to hurt the kid. I think he did it like as a joke. Like,
well, of course he did it as a joke.
Yeah, like it wasn't like "fuck you, you suck
no,
on
but
this,
that's
weirdo."
There's
Sure,
no way the
sure.
kid took it as a
The
joke.
kid
though.
was crying. He's like, "I got your gift," and he was like, "Oh," like he faked him out, and he's like, "Here you go." And he's like, "Oh," you can see he was
Now
not.
that kid now is Andrew Tate.
yeah, really. Some massive.
Come on, he listened.
So, but
Andrew Tate is the.
He's
Oh, that's not a
that
kid who
pyramid
listens?
scheme guy.
Okay, there's another guy. I thought you were
No.
talking about.
but more importantly, what flavor was it? Peach.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Peach.
remember?
That's a good
Yeah,
one.
it was orange. It could have been apricot.
Or carrots, or plum, or yams, or sweet potatoes.
I did eat it after. I'm joking.
Do you have one of those rubber spoons?
That was the 90s,
Oh,
though, I
man,
think,
yeah.
honestly. I don't think the dad did it on purpose. I think he was just joking.
Sure,
Buddy,
yeah.
listen, we appreciate you coming on and opening up. Sometimes this is a tough thing to
Yeah.
talk about, and we try to talk about things that are tough, but we had fun, right?
I had a lot of fun.
This is great.
Can you give us advice, though? One last push of, like, a guy who's, scared to cry in front of a significant other. Just what would be your, advice? And say, just fucking do
For
it.
someone who does it a lot,
I mean, like,
what can you tell us?
if the door is open on the other side, why wouldn't it be open for you? Like, if she cried in front of you?
She's crying right now, I assume.
Yeah. She FaceTimes you and like, you gotta see it. You gotta be here.
Don't forget.
Yeah, I think, like, it is hard, but it's like, that's your person, and you're a team. So it's like, you can't do all things by yourself because it's just going to get harder and heavier on you. So there's some times where you're like, I got to call in my teammate for this. So it's
Yeah.
like, there's some things you should not do them alone. Why would, if you have a person, that's what they're here for, the bad things too.
Yeah, treat it like a tag team partner.
Yeah.
You gotta supplement.
Yeah.
Or if you don't cry, if you can't bring yourself to cry in front of someone, maybe at least let them know.
Yeah.
That's like, let them know that you're doing that, and like that's a part of who you are, but like you're not comfortable with them doing that. Because that's got to suck to not be able to share everything with your partner. If like you're scared of what they're going to think of you, it's like, well, then what are you doing?
Right.
And if you don't have someone, you gotta get like a blow up doll or something.
Or you just gotta get the DVD of Any Given Sunday.
And they have many holes you can cry into. So it really it works out. I think a big thing is like just being able to be like, I learned that recently with Caitlin. It's just like you are allowed to say, "Hey, I need you for this," and that's part of it. And if that's a bigger problem, if that's something that can't happen.
Yeah.
You know?
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, buddy, listen. These are tough topics, and it's really cool of you to talk about.
So much fun.
This was great. Yeah.
And you were not the only person we asked.
Well, I'm glad whoever it was.
We're the first one who said yes.
Well, I'm happy to admit that I cry.
I didn't know you were a crier. I mean, I've heard you talk about like mental, but it's not a.
I'm an emotional man. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah.
Well, where can we find you? Where can people?
You can find me crying. And, please, for the love of God, follow me on Instagram, Steven Rogers Comedy, and then my YouTube special is called Before He Was Super, and it's on YouTube. It's free.
It's really funny too.
Oh, thank you.
It's on YouTube. It's
Appreciate
really good. Really
Thanks
well shot too.
Thank you.
Yeah. It was really good.
Thanks for doing this, man. You're a great guy. You're a hilarious comic, and
Thank
we really
you. You guys,
appreciate
it was
it.
so funny. Everybody, it was so fun.
Thank you so much, dude. Yeah, this was super fun.
Thanks for having me.
And again, make sure you hit us up if you're watching this. Download it on iTunes, Spotify. If you're listening to this, we're on YouTube, full clips, full episodes, all kinds of fun stuff. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time, buds.
Yay.
That was really fun.
That was so fun.
Super
Thank
fun.
you. I appreciate it.
I'm so glad.